Welcome back to the Voices of Women Summit, where in honor of International Women's Day 2023, we are raising the voices of hundreds of women so that their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Kay Miller. Kay is your health detective with a passion for helping moms overcome depression and building generational health. She has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Kay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Super excited to be here today for International Women's Day. We're here with another super exciting guest coming with us, and we are going to talk with Jessica Tietjen about 3 strategies every leader needs to optimize performance and prevent burnout. Go ahead and share with us, Jessica, if you'd like to, a little bit about what makes this an exciting topic for you.
Yeah. So for me, I was this super successful executive, and I say that with from the sense that I had, or how I felt about how I was doing and what I was accomplishing. And I thought I had all the training and resources that I would need to continue to be successful. And then I experienced burnout, and it was bad. It was actually so bad I didn't even recognize that it was happening. And one of the things about burnout is that it's like this slow burn. It's not this big, huge explosion that happens. It's this slow burn that builds up over time until all of a sudden the whole forest is burned down. And you're like, when did that happen? Like, how did I get into this situation? And, I had been doing that for over 15 years since law school. My background is as an attorney, moved into the corporate space, and I had been kind of burning the end, at both ends, right? Burning the candle at both ends for so long, I didn't even recognize what was happening to me. And what I realized after the experience was that I had all this knowledge that I needed to be successful, but I didn't have the resources that I needed to optimize my performance in a way that would prevent stress and burnout, that I didn't have some really key strategies that would have prevented my experiencing the struggles that I did.
Awesome. Yes, that burning the candles at both ends. So I know a lot of us ladies can probably relate to that. So wow, that's really great. I am super excited to hear your talk. So let's go ahead and just dive into it and learn a little bit more about what these 3 strategies are that you have for our leaders to optimize their performance.
Yeah. So one of the things that happened, I think, as a result of all the struggles that everyone was going through, women left the workplace at probably the fastest rate in history throughout the pandemic. And as a result of that, there's just been this record-breaking stress, burnout, overwhelm. There's constant change. We constantly have to learn new technology. And what I discovered was that there were these 3 strategies, or these 3 things that were really missing. The first was that I didn't really understand what was needed for transformational growth. I didn't understand how to really develop vertically instead of horizontally. So when I say that, horizontal development is, we have if you think of like a cup of water, it's filling it up. So it's adding more skills, more knowledge, more information. Vertical development is actually getting a bigger cup, expanding your capacity for what you can hold, for what you can take in, for what you can accomplish and do. And what happens is, when we're only doing horizontal development, we're only adding more information, more knowledge, ultimately that cup overflows. Ultimately, we run out of bandwidth. Whereas with vertical development, we actually work using neuroscience-based practices to expand our capacity. And we apply neuroscience based practices in learning about our different brains and our different head, heart, and gut, and knowledge that our body has to give us to help bring ourselves back into balance and actually expand our capacity, expand how much we can actually accomplish and how much we can actually achieve by paying attention to those other our bodies and how they're operating.
Awesome. That's really amazing to think about, using the neuroscience and how your gut and everything is functioning in there. I'd love to hear more. Carry on.
Yeah. So the second strategy then, so if we can increase our capacity by balancing our beings, by using these neuroscience-based practices, then the second issue is that we often don't get to the root issue. We often are focused on our behavior. How do we change our behaviors? How do we perform better or implement this 3-step habit or this 5-step process? And we don't actually get to the underlying root issues. We instead just focus on how we're going to change those work practices. But if we get below the behavior, we start to look at our thoughts, and then our feelings, and then ultimately our emotions and even our physiology. And that is where transformational growth can really happen. So when we stop at that top level, we don't get to the actual issue that's causing the problem or causing the challenge or causing the experience that we're having. One of the ways I like to think about it is, how many times have you taken a course or training in something, but never actually done anything about it, never actually figured out how to implement it or how to use it. One of my favorites is actually emotional intelligence. Lots of people take these emotional intelligence courses, but they don't actually know then how to be aware of their own emotions, how to actually grow their own emotional intelligence so that they can use it more effectively to get to those root issues, to change their behaviors, to change the results that they're accomplishing it, or that they're accomplishing. So even if I shift my mindset, if I haven't gotten to that root practice, if I haven't embodied and transformed the root challenge, then I'm going to keep falling back into that default state as a result. So that's the second strategy. And then the third strategy really is that incorporating the elements of transformational growth. So for a long time, I was a talent management professional in the HR space. I'd put together a peak performance program with 4 keys. We had gotten our organization to actually become globally recognized as an exceptional place to work. We'd won all kinds of awards on the program. So I had all these great practices and I had all this great knowledge and information, but I couldn't get leaders to actually do it, including myself in some areas, right? I couldn't get them to actually implement some of the things that they knew they needed to be doing, they knew were important and that they needed to be accomplishing. And what I discovered is that there's these elements of transformational growth that we often don't incorporate, that we often don't use. And there's these 6 kind of key elements. So one is taking time for self-reflection so we can really understand the concepts and connect them to our own unique experience, and then translate that reflection into key insights that align with our internal wisdom. So instead of, here's the key insights that somebody else has or somebody else wants me to know, what are the key insights, or what am I going to take action on? What is my wisdom, my internal knowing telling me I need to do to move forward? Then it's actually taking that action and doing it with defined practices where we're doing it regularly and consistently, which is the 4th element. So we have to do it consistently so that we develop new neural pathways. So we have to be taking those actions, practicing them consistently to develop those new neural pathways. And then we have to take personal accountability for following through and doing that so that we create that change. And most people, if you ask, most people struggle with some or all of those. Most people don't take time for reflection. They're too busy. There's no time. They try what other people suggest that they do versus really deciding what's going to work best for them. They're too busy then to actually take the action, let alone do it consistently or stay accountable to the long-term change. We come up with all kinds of reasons as to why we can't be successful, why we can't move forward. And so the last element that I think is so important to transformational growth, to really getting and optimizing your performance, is finding the support of a performance partner, having someone who walks alongside of you, who is helping you to get to your end result, to get to the impact that you want to make and the result that you want to have in the world, or the performance, and optimize that performance in a way that is impactful, without you burning out. And performance partners then can be providing that regular feedback, can help you make sure you're being consistent, can check in on your progress, reinforce your actions, and identify those root issues, work with you to get to below those levels, help you facilitate so you can get to your own wisdom and get to that deeper level. And one of the biggest things that I've found performance partners really do that is so helpful and so impactful is they challenge. They force you to disrupt your way of thinking, your way of operating, and help challenge you to push beyond it. And so often we get in our comfort zones and then we don't understand why we can't change, why we can't live differently, or we can't enjoy our lives more, or we can't accomplish more in our lives. Whereas if we were to be pushed and really disrupt how we think about things, then we can actually move to that next level. Then we can get to those outcomes or those results. So those are really the three like key strategies. And you've got to have all of those elements if you want to really optimize your performance, get those results that you want, and do it in a way that doesn't lead you to overwhelm in terms of stress and burnout.
I love it. I love it. Those are really great. And I love the 6 little steps that you put in there of what to actually do to get to that, effect. So especially, about having someone that was a performance partner. Do you have any suggestions for people on how to find that performance partner for them?
Yeah, and I use the term performance partner differently than coach, and I can distinguish how I kind of look at that. I've had lots of coaches, and coaches are so valuable. They provide you input and perspective, encouragement. They help you on a whole variety of different things. A performance partner is really there to focus on your performance. There to focus on helping you make the changes that you need to make specific to the challenges you're encountering, to implementing the practices you need to implement. And so, especially for leaders and people who manage other people, it's so important that they have that support, that they find a resource. And typically it's best if that performance partner is not within your own organization, so that you do get challenged and disrupted and get those more difficult conversations. Oftentimes we don't want to engage in those conversations with people that we work with on a regular basis. So being able to have that person that's outside of our organization that is working with us, and somebody who can be there when you have the issue. Because the other problem I see a lot is that we have a challenge with our performance. We aren't giving feedback regularly to our employees, or we aren't being clear in how we set expectations with the people that we manage or that we lead. And when we have a conflict or we have an issue, like an employee not being clear or something comes up, that's when we want to get the learning from it. That's when we want to develop and grow, is in that moment. And when we have to wait a week or, multiple days before we can get input, before we can work through how can we incorporate the learning from this experience, we don't get the same learning. We don't get the same impact or the same result. And so if instead we can have a performance partner that either virtually or by scheduling is readily available for us, that is really where then we can make the biggest progress the fastest at addressing those issues or those challenges. You're on mute.
Saw that. Really great information. I'm glad that you broke that down for us and shared the difference between what a coach versus a performance partner can do for us, because there's all these different terms out here and we're never sure what exactly we're looking for, but you want to have the right person for the right job. So that was really great. I really, really appreciated the information you had for us. And I understand that you have a gift for us as well, right?
I do. So I have a webinar that goes into all of this in much more depth. So it walks through each of the strategies, gives you all of the different steps of how to accomplish them and why they're so important. And then I also, on that page, I've got a basics of burnout like downloadable. So you can kind of get all the basic information of, are you in burnout? Is it stress? And then this is really now, how do you move beyond that into a place where you can be performing and not burning out and not stressed all the time and not overwhelmed, and instead implement practices that are really going to make a difference, rather than just take another training course that that you learn some really great information, but then forget everything that you learned.
Awesome. That sounds like a really great thing to grab. If you guys haven't yet, the link, I believe, has just been dropped in the chat. So make sure you click on that, grab that freebie, get signed up for the webinar, because you don't want to miss what Jessica has to share with you to go deeper and further in this topic. And then I believe we also have a special gift for the VIP attendees. Is that correct as well?
I do. So everybody who's in the VIP, I'm giving away 2 months of our Evolving Future Leaders to Peak Performance program. So this program incorporates all the elements of these strategies and these challenges to help leaders get to that higher performance, to optimize their performance, create greater results for themselves and their teams. And it's multiple courses, but it's also virtual training, live group coaching. So for 2 months, there's a lot of support to get you started, to get you moving, and really get to, experience and learn how to be that exceptional or extraordinary leader, to be the type of person that can truly make a difference in terms of the performance of their people and the results that they're able to accomplish by optimizing themselves and their teams. So highly encourage you to get the VIP. I mean, there's a ton of amazing gifts in the VIP, and this one is just one of many, right? So but it is more than just a virtual course or an online thing. It provides some actual support, so you get to feel what it feels like to have a performance partner.
Nice, nice. A really great opportunity, I believe. Definitely the icing on the cake is these VIP gifts on top of coming to this event and hearing all this wonderful information for free from these wonderful ladies. Being able to grab these VIP gifts that have value well beyond the cost of the VIP, I think is amazing. And so just, would you like to recap for us, if you don't mind, just what the 3 strategies were, just 1, 2, 3, really
Sure.
quick, in case somebody didn't quite get them jotted down. And
Yeah.
I'm just checking chat to make sure if you guys have any questions for Jessica, please make sure you pop them in there. She's got a few minutes left that she might be able to answer them for you.
So the first strategy is we need to focus on vertical development by implementing neuroscience practices to help us balance our beings, to balance our performance, so that we can truly expand our capacity. The second is to get to root issues. So not just focus on behaviors, but get to the emotions and the physiology that have created those behaviors. And then the third is to incorporate the 6 elements of transformational growth. And most importantly, to get that performance partner, to get that person who can support you in helping you actually transform your growth. And one of the ways I really like to think about the performance partner is it's like a driving instructor. So when you were learning to drive, you had somebody in the passenger seat as you were driving, but you as the driver are the one that's choosing what to do, making all the decisions. The partner sitting by your side, they're correcting you, encouraging you, making you stay on track, making sure you don't run off the road, but you're the one that's actually driving. And then once you learn how to drive, it becomes second nature. Then you don't have to have that same support. You can do it without thinking. And that's the goal. We're getting to that point. The partner walks alongside you until you get to the point that you can do it yourself and you know how to do it yourself and be successful.
Great, great. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica, for everything you've shared with us. We do have up next, we're going to be speaking with Amanda Ertz. So please stay tuned to hear her talk. But before we go, did you have any last one little tidbit or something you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I would just say for anyone who's a leader, anybody who's a leader today, if you are not expanding your capacity, you're going to be in trouble because there's just going to keep being more and more added to your responsibilities and challenges that we're going to face, and your cup's going to ultimately overflow. So you've got to start working at how can I expand my capacity?
That's awesome. We're always going to be trying to expand our capacity without burning out, though.
Yes.
So definitely something that we want to do. I've really appreciated and enjoyed your time with us. I don't see any questions, but we do have a few minutes left. If you had something else you wanted to slide in there, make sure you guys grab the gift in the link there and sign up for the VIP.
Yeah,
Have any-
I think the most important thing is just that getting that performance partner so that you can really make those changes. So you can really optimize your performance. And optimizing doesn't mean working harder. It actually means becoming more effective at how you use your energy and how you move throughout your day so that you don't burn out, so you don't have stress all the time. And so, a lot of people just think of performance as push harder, do more, accomplish more. Instead, when we optimize our performance, when we understand our energy levels, then we can really perform in a way that makes the most of what we have rather than creates a drag or creates more stress and ends up in burnout.
Excellent. Yes, definitely understanding those energy levels, and they kind of go up and down throughout the day, right? Don't they?
Yes.
We all think we just go to work and we just work and get things done and push through. And it's like, you need the ebb and the flow, and can only pay attention for so long, and all those kind of things we need to make sure that we take into account. Well, thank you so much. Let's see, I think that will be it for our talk today with Jessica. I thank you all for joining us today, and I hope that you stick around for the next talk. And there's a whole lineup. You can go back and find which talk you'd like to join in on next. And that's about it. I'm Kate, and all the best.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Voices of Women Summit, where our mission is to raise the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@voicesofwomensummit.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic speaker coming right up.